Good evening and welcome to the 8 p.m. news live on Eswatini TV. I am Nondobe Gonzabkeloago and I am together with Nomakabiso Ngampule. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. Members of Parliament have been tasked with taping solutions to ease the implementation of Regional Development Fund projects. The Minister for Finance has presented the 2020-2021 mid-budget review report. Senate has taken a break for the year 2020. And now the news in detail. The Minister of Tinkhundla and Regional Development, David Ngamphalala, says members of Parliament must assist in addressing challenges in the implementation of regional development projects. The minister said this in a meeting with members of Parliament from the Hoho region, where they were reviewing the Rural Development Fund. The meeting was held at Pikes Peak Hotel on Monday.
During the meeting with Hoho members of Parliament for the review of the Rural Development Fund, the Minister of Tinkhundla and Development, David Ngamphalala, says members of Parliament should work collectively for developmental activities in their constituencies. The Minister says this will have positive impact for all constituencies in the country.
Sifika njani uma kunetinkinga sibanjwe yini ngoba uhulumende uma angendi kahle nemhlonisho angendi kahle kuthiwa le system yetenkundla ayendi kahle sitobuka ke ukuthi kuko konke lokusakhuluma sikuthathe bahlonisha labatasiphathisa khona sikumikise kuhulumende etulu ukuthi la sihamba khona ngoba namhlanje lokusila mntwana enkosi bonke abantu bakahoho batokhuluma la bamelelwe ngoba bamelelwe ngilabahlonisha lababathulu letinkinga letikhona sitithatha njengoba tinjalo lapha sitawufike sendi presentation khona ecabinet ukuthi tinkinga tahoho tingaka tinkinga tema region mntwana enkosi akufanani.
Delivering his speech on behalf of Hoho members of Parliament, Mfonjeni Member of Parliament Sifiso Makakula says the Ministry of Tinkhundla should also ensure that the development funds benefit even the youth.
Minister, ngathi kama submissions ke leseswendile sibahlonishwa sale manje nduna usukuma vele ucruise leave liye le ku 2022 ngekuthi ke kubuye le decentralization bill le parliament le bill lengiyena lengasenta nduna ukuthi ekugijimeke lula ukuthi le live lithuthuke kwesibili nduna abahlonishwa bakhulume kakhulu kabanti ngenzaba yeyouth sicela ukuthi nisibambise sibahlonisha njengoba iyouth in 70% wale population yelive lonke ukuthi nasibuke iyouth sibambise yona sidabe vele le live sifuna lithuthuke sibili.
Hoho Regional Administrator Princess Tanzile says the meeting is very crucial, especially for the benefit of all Eswatini. The Ministry of Tinkhundla, therefore, says it will consider the opinions raised by members of Parliament so that the country could reach first world status by 2022. Reporting for Eswatini TV News is Pumapi Msweli, Pikes Peak.
The Minister for Finance, Neil Reckenberg, presented to Senate the mid-year budget review report for 2020-2021. Minister Reckenberg was represented by Minister for Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati.
Among other things contained by the mid-year budget review report 2020-2021 is that at half-year 2020-2021, the Southern African Customs Union receipt increased by 32%.
The source of revenue continues to prove volatile and there is little control to manage it. However, to achieve a higher growth rate in this revenue source, some short-term measures were recommended. This includes reducing the age restriction of second-hand motor vehicles imported from outside of SACCO and minimizing, as far as possible, the importation of petroleum products from outside of SACCO. Domestic revenue collection at half year amounts to 4.47 billion in Malawi. This is below the 5.27 billion which was collected at the same time last year.
Last week, the report was presented to the House of Assembly. The Minister of Finance also tabled the Rural Electrification Access Fund Regulations 2020, amended by the House of Assembly. Senator Tony Sbanze says Senate has to look into the regulations which have been passed by the House of Assembly. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Parliament.
Senate has taken a break for the year. According to the President, the House will reconvene next year on a date to be announced by their Majesties.
Just before the Senate could proceed with its work on Monday, Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini announced that it was the last sitting for the second session of the 11th Parliament, as senators will be taking break until next year.
Sengisosikhathi sekuthi timbonga ngabe sesiya utilungiselela imisebenzi yelive sekudingeka ukuthi ngabe sekuyawulungiswa leyo mvunulo naloko setisebenzile timbonga tengwenyama esikhathini lapho khona bekungumnyaka lolukhuni kakhulu tashaya imithetho leminingi ama-regulations bamaningi umsebenzi wabamningimela kasebenza timbonga ngekukhandla kwami nje kungaba ngikubonga kakhulu timbonga ekutheni sibambisene kakhulu asephinde silinelane timbonga ukuthi awu sesishares imbonga yenye yethu lapha yabe sesiyasishiya kodwa noma kunjalo timbonga tiqhubekile tafaka emandla siyabonga kakhulu timbonga lehloniphekile kungaba kucela nje ukuthi sisatawuthatha isikhathi sente siyokuyela imisende live.
Senate President encourages senators to take good care of themselves. She pleaded with them to comply with all COVID-19 regulations to stay safe from the virus, which she says was dangerous. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Parliament.
Ministry of Labour and Social Security Senate Portfolio Committee recommends that employers and employees should be the vice chairpersons in the National Social Dialogue Committee for the committee's transparency and accountability. The senators said this when meeting in an ongoing meeting at the Happy Valley Hotel today.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security continues to hold consultative meetings with the House of Assembly and Senate Portfolio Committees on the relaunch of the National Social Dialogue Committee to make it work effectively. On Monday, the Minister met with the Senate Portfolio Committee to deliberate on the National Social Dialogue Committee revival. The Portfolio Committee's chairperson, Sylvia Mtetwa, elaborates on some of the topics discussed.
As senators, we felt that chairmanship should remain in the ministry, but workers and employers should be also included for the sake of transparency and ownership. So we felt that it would be good that they work together in harmony. Maybe the objections of the structure is to revitalize our national social dialogue structures, those which include the Labour Advisory Board and a National Steering Committee on Social Structures.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security Under Secretary Anton Masilela says the committee's reviews will be helpful in setting up the National Social Dialogue Committee.
We are having a consultative meeting with the Portfolio Committee from House of Senate, whereby they are helping us coming up with they are helping us in a questionnaire which is trying to look at how to relaunch the social dialogue.
When the ministry has completed the consultative meetings with all stakeholders, it will compile a report which the Minister of Labour and Social Security will present in Parliament. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Ezulwini.
The Central Bank of Eswatini has officially launched the Eswatini FinTech Working Group, which is aimed at encouraging consumers to use financial technology to protect their rights, interests, and data. The launch was held today at the Royal Swazi.
The Eswatini FinTech Working Group is a partnership between the Central Bank of Eswatini, Center for Financial Inclusion, ICICOM, UNESWA, and the FSRA. The objective of the EFWG is to foster fintech innovation while ensuring the continued efficient functioning of financial markets, financial stability, and protecting the rights and data of consumers of such products or innovations in the country. Deputy Governor Felicia Kunene says digital finance has become critical in addressing sustainable development.
Through digital finance solutions, governments have been able to provide financial relief to millions of individuals and businesses during the pandemic. Specifically, mobile money has played a massive role in providing support and access to many Eswatini.
ICICOM CEO Mvilawempi Dlamini says fintech is crucial as it addresses many societal issues.
Fintechs primarily address societal changes, and as a country we have plenty. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exacerbated the need for innovation.
FSRA CEO Ncamiso Njalinjali says the African region is lagging behind on developmental issues, particularly on technology.
The global perception is that our region, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, has lagged behind in development and also keeping pace with technology. The Chief Executive has mentioned the fourth industrial revolution. It remains a buzzword, but how do we incorporate that in our living lives and also be able to deal with the challenges that it arises with?
Vice-Chancellor at the University of Eswatini, Professor Justice Twala, has implored the partners to look at the issue of data costs, while CFI Acting CEO Nomcebo Hadebe says, according to members of the World Bank, with financial inclusion, the country can reach 7 out of the 17 SDGs. The EFWG then signed a memorandum of understanding to seal the partnership. Reporting, I'm Lungilile Makakula with Parties MCB Zulwini.
More than 6,100 homesteads who have been heavily affected by COVID-19 in various constituencies in Shiselweni are receiving cash transfers and farming inputs. The announcement was made by Baphalali Eswatini Red Cross Society's Danger Nhlabati during an interview with the Eswatini TV in Mbabane.
Since the COVID-19 seems to continue to be ravaging the globe, the government of the kingdom and non-governmental organizations, as well as other stakeholders, also continues to assist those that have been heavily affected by the pandemic in many communities around the country by giving them cash transfers and farming inputs. General Secretary from the Baphalali Eswatini Red Cross Society, Danger Nhlabati, says the project is going well so far and many Maswati appreciate the support they are receiving from the organization and the government as well.
We are giving a total of 3,800 households in Matsanjeni and Somtongo, and we shall continue to assist Hosea and Sikwe during this lean season. And the total number of households altogether that shall be getting the assistance is 6,100 households. And they shall continue to receive the assistance for up to March 2021. So the National Society is not only assisting them in the food aspect, we are also assisting in regard to farming inputs, especially purchasing of seeds.
Nhlabati also revealed that when this project was started, there were challenges faced such as the delay to most of Maswati not receiving their cash transfers in time through mobile money, but the issue has been solved amicably. Hlabatsi further stated that the project will end in March next year. He then praised the Ministry of Agriculture for conducting trainings to farmers before receiving their farming imports. For Eswatini TV News, Zoto Adlameni with Muslim Konda, Babane.
Acting Director General of the Eswatini Civil Aviation Authority, Jabulani Makakula, says while the outbreak of COVID-19 has had tremendous effects on the aviation sector globally, Eswatini is working on programs that will swiftly develop the industry in the kingdom. This is an update given by the Acting Director General of the Eswatini Civil Aviation Authority, Jabulani Makakula.
On the 7th of December every year, world countries commemorate International Civil Aviation Day. This year, this day is being celebrated under the theme, Advancing Innovation for Global Aviation Development. In 2020, the International Civil Aviation Day is being celebrated at a time when the world is faced with the effects of the outbreak of COVID-19 due to the many travel restrictions across the world. Yet, despite the many challenges existing in this sector, Acting Director General of the Eswatini Civil Aviation Authority, Jabulani Makakula, says with the assistance of German-based aviation consultant Lufthansa, Eswatini has already conducted a study which closely looks into the many direct flights, routes, destinations which Eswatini can explore.
This initiative seeks to introduce regional and international flights direct from Swaziland. Negotiations are at an advanced stage. We're waiting for the main shareholder, which is the government, to endorse and bless these partnerships so that the business can start.
Meanwhile, Makakula indicated that airlines like Qatar, Ethiopian and Kenya Airways have already shown interest in partnering with Eswatini for more direct flight route destinations. The Eswatini Civil Aviation Authority has further partnered with the University of Eswatini to conduct research studies on how innovations like the Advanced Passenger Data Program can be used to further improve Eswatini's aviation sector so that the country can more align itself with this year's theme for International Civil Aviation Day, which looks at how innovations can help advance the aviation industry. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengiwe Ndlovu with Muslim Konda in Matapa.
Eswatini Environment Authority Communications Officer Belusile Mhlanga says indicators show that many people in Eswatini show signs of being conscious of the effects of plastics on the environment, as many shoppers seem to have embraced the idea of shops not providing plastic bags on weekends through the Phatha Sakho Nawe campaign, which is aimed at reducing single-use plastic bags in Eswatini.
While the past weekend marked the first of many Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays in which plastic bags will not be availed in selected shops in Eswatini under the auspices of the Phatha Sakho Nawe campaign, yet still Communications Officer of the Eswatini Environment Authority says many members of the public and consumers have shown great interest in the idea of retail outlets not providing plastic bags on weekends.
The Phatha Sakho Nawe campaign, dubbed as Bring Your Own, has been very successful over the weekend. As we saw, most of the consumers, they were carrying their own shopper bags or getting them from the retailers. Some of them were even carrying their groceries by hand, which is something that we encourage, especially that individuals should bring their shopper bags from home. We've also seen other shops which were not in partnership or which we have not partnered with in the campaign also taking part, and we would like to encourage that all retailers, they should be part of this campaign.
Belusile says some consumers are already expressing desire for the country to effect fully fledged mechanisms of completely doing away with single-use plastics.
But some consumers, they felt that we are watering down the efforts of trying to reduce plastic pollution by offering plastic bags from Monday to Friday. They are really calling for us to reconsider that, as they were starting to get used to the idea that they need to bring their own bags, and they realize why it is important to do that.
The Phatha Sakho Nawe campaign is one of many sensitizations made in Eswatini to educate members of the public on the effects of plastic bags on the country's environment. For Eswatini TV News, Hleliwe Ndlovu with Muzimkhonda in Babane.
The Office of the Ambassador of Taiwan in the Kingdom has donated food parcels to residents at Zombotse Emuva constituency. The food was handed over by the Assistant Ambassador, Oliver Han.
40 25 liters of hand sanitizers, 40 bags of 40 kg rice, 40 bags of 40 kg meal, and 40 food hampers with cooking oil and beans have been donated to the Zombotse constituency by the Taiwan Embassy. The representative of the Ambassador of Taiwan, Oliver Han, says the Member of Parliament will divide the food according to the needs of the community members and distribute it accordingly.
I believe if they divide it into small bags, I believe many people will be happy, because from my experience, they will divide into maybe 5 bags, 5 kg or 10 kg per bag. But I'm very happy to come here before Christmas to help the people who are in need.
Member of Parliament of the Zombotse constituency, Muzi Gunene, thanked the Taiwan Embassy for the donation.
People are hungry, there's no food, and then they came to their rescue, and it's going to be an early Christmas for all those who are going to be benefiting from such an initiative. We really want to appreciate the kind of help they constantly offering us as MPs, because they are allowing us to get to be with the people through this time, get to help the people in every way possible. So this is going to go a long way into helping them.
Over 60 constituencies and chiefdoms combined have received donations from the Taiwan Embassy since the beginning of the year. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Sifiso Ngumalo with Smuva Shongwe, Zombotse.
GenderLinks Eswatini has encouraged the Maswati to register for cyber dialogues in order to share their ideas to the SADC region regarding issues on gender-based violence, which will be held virtually. This was revealed by GenderLinks Country Director Ngane Mazia in an interview with Eswatini TV in Babane.
Following the launch of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence on the 25th of November, most countries in the SADC region have come up with various projects to ensure that the issue of gender-based violence is addressed in the region. GenderLinks Country Coordinator Ngane Mazia says the cyber dialogue is held virtually, and she then advises Amaswati on how to register in order to be part of these dialogues.
Cyber dialogues is a platform whereby all the countries in the SADC region, GenderLinks work with, they normally meet. It's a virtual meeting whereby they talk about their experiences and share their stories on what's happening on issues of HPV in their countries. And this year we are focusing on SRHR as well, whereby if you are not registered, you have to register so that you can be able to participate. But if you are registered, you just log in, then you click, there are rooms there, you just go to Cyber Dialogue, you click there, then you are able to continue with and participate and continue with the dialogues with other countries in the region.
Mazia further revealed that language to use during the dialogues is English, French and Portuguese. For Eswatini TV News, Zotwa Dlamini, Muzimkhonda in Babane.
In our sports news today, Green Mamba head coach Caleb Ngwenya says even though they had limited time to prepare for the new season, they will still be ready when it starts. Ngwenya was speaking during their friendly games at the King Sopuza Stadium in Nhlangano.
The Eswatini Premier League is expected to start this coming weekend. Many teams are on their final stage of their preparations. In Nhlangano at the King Sopuza Stadium, Green Mamba, Hlatikulu Tycoons, Rangers and Black Swallows played friendly games over the past weekend. Team head coaches and owners of the four teams says preparations are going well, even though the time is not enough. And some are saying they are concentrating on few mistakes. After that, they will be ready to go, and that they do believe they are 70% ready to start the season.
Lokufuna sikwenda isikhathi sincane, but we are trying our best because isikhathi sibe side kakhulu badlali bangasiko active.
Ngizama kulungisa lokho, sifundile kumaphutha ethu, sizama kurectify lokho. Lama preparation nje la we are playing Green Mamba, sizama kulungisa lokho ukubona ukuthi how far, then sibuyele Monday sikhona kulungisa lapho so that come weekend next week isikhande ukuthi sikahle si right.
Sicabanga ukuthi sesithutane kakhulu emalungiselelo ethu, bengingasho ngithi almost 70% ukuthi team seyiyakhombakalisa ukuthi i-shape yayo ibhekaphi, badlali beme kanjani.
The teams were also tested for COVID-19. Member of the Premier League, Mashumi Shongo, says they appreciate all the help they're getting from the Football Association, who has supplied them with PEP and also helped them test for COVID.
If went out ngokusemandleni nakhe ukuthi ibhola iqale kahle, uyasisupport ngayo yonke indlela, sing-PLE nema-club onga-PLE simbonile aniketa emathulusi kusebenta against COVID, ama-sanitizers, ama-mask, nalokunye nje lokungema-test lokuhambisana nako lokhu. Nalamhla futhi sibonile i-medical team yaka-IFA ikhona la stadium njengoba silana itokwenta i-COVID test kuma-players nema-officials. I-Rangers seyitestile nje, i-Tycoons yatest, i-Green Mamba nayo egroundini seyitestile, i-Black Swallow seyitestile. Lokho kuyasitshela ukuthi ibandla laka-Football Association limbambisile PLE ukuthi angene kahle kulama games sibe safe na-COVID.
Shonga says they will continue helping teams as they are about to start the new season. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizwe Msibi with Smuva Shonga in Nhlangano.
And that's how we come to the end of our bulletin. But before we leave, let's take a quick look at the headlines. Members of Parliament have been tasked with taping solutions to ease the implementation of Regional Development Fund projects. The Minister for Finance has presented the 2020-2021 Mid-Budget Review Report. Senate has taken a break for the year 2020. Eswatini, that is all the news we had for you tonight. Up next is the weather forecast. Good night and God bless.
Everywhere you go, MTN.